So name, image, and likeness went live today. Athletes can profit off their name, image, and likeness. And basically this becomes, there is some, ability for, there's a gymnast at LSU who, I don't know in gymnastics if anybody's ever heard of her or if she's not. If she was big time, she'd be Olympian, but she's a very attractive young woman. And if you follow her on Instagram, where she's super popular, there's like one picture of her in a gymnastics uniform. The rest is in a bikini or in. Yeah, she's not. It's nothing inappropriate in any way, but it's definitely, she's basically an Instagram model, right? And she's going to profit off it. There's sisters that play for Fresno State, and they got a deal already. I don't even know if Fresno State had a basketball program, right? Let alone two young women. So it's not based. The values are based upon followers, which, as most of you know, my belief has been for a long time that all of these name, image, and likeness benefits you get as soon as you're done playing. That there are so many other things that go into it. Now, I will also grant you I played during a different time where it wasn't as easy as a Cameo, right? If you know what Cameo is, you can do it on your phone. You can get some. I have Cameo, right, where I can send you a message for, I think I do like $75 or something. I give it to charity. So you can do a Cameo and get paid. But this is pay for play. I mean, that's what it is, because the name, image, and likeness thing, there are very few brands that will buy into a player before they've accomplished anything. And once somebody accomplishes something in sports, they go professional. That's the way it works. Look, Spencer Rattler, who's quarterback for Oklahoma, has a lot of followers on social media, $125 on Cameo. Now, you might think, well, that's not very much money. But if you're Spencer Rattler and you put out there like, hey, I'm thinking about leaving Oklahoma unless I get $100,000, right? I mean, think about it. You just need 1,000 people to sign up for Cameo at $125 a pop. And granted, you don't clear all that money. Cameo gets some of the money, but you're almost all the way to your goal. Right? If you're a high school athlete, you're thinking about signing. I'm not signing anywhere unless I can make $1 million. Do I think that'll happen? No, but 100 people at $10 a pop. 10,000 people at $10 a pop. 100,000 people. Tennessee has Neyland Stadium. 10,000 people. $10 a pop. That's $1 million. So, I mean, it's a whole new world. Now, University of Illinois' new name, image, likeness policy requires that athletes show any contract to the school valued at more than $500 prior to signing the deal. You can't do adult entertainment, sports betting, gambling, cannabis, vape products, or alcohol. These are reasonable things. Reasonable things. Which, of course, I'm sure somebody will sue in court. They'll be like, nope, once it's open, it's open. But we're in this whole new era, and we've gone headlong into it. I saw Clay Travis with a laughably bad tweet. Laughably bad tweet. No, it was not about the election being stolen. It was in regards to basically the NCAA. All the NCAA has done for its existence has been to keep money from athletes. Why do they exist now? Like, that's the levels of inaccuracy, the levels of fabrication to that tweet cannot be matched in any other tweet I've seen in regards to it. The NCAA is made up of member institutions, and this is just one of their rules. It wasn't the basis of the NCAA. The NCAA is, again, it's like Congress for college athletics. And they put on all the events, and they vote, and they set the rules, they make the rule book, and they help manage all of those things. And this is just a portion of managing it all. But we are in this brave new world, and I think the interesting part is going to be what are the actual dollar figures and when it settles down. Players are going to make some money here in the coming days, but at some point in time, businesses go like, well, what am I really getting in return? And then the question becomes, why would you give to a school if some of those donations are no longer tax-free when you get to give directly to the athletes? How does that hurt the school's bottom line? And that may not bother you, right? But it's going to affect schools' ability to maintain all of the different athletic teams. Yeah, it's really interesting. Obviously, I still believe I'm on the right side of history. I still believe that the deal was a great deal. I think that colleges now, frankly, can get out of paying cost of attendance and any other thing that they deem not necessary. Because now it's like, hey, if you think we're coming up short, like, you can go and we can use your name, image, and likeness. Go for it. You know? And I'm fascinated. I saw Joe Burrow tweeted out, wow, this is great for the non-scholarship athlete. Who is going to pay money to a non-scholarship athlete for name, image, and likeness? What Olympic sports, softball players, gymnasts that are just great at their sports, track stars, soccer stars, are going to be able to make any money off? Like, I don't think people see it realistically. The rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. That's the way capitalism works. If you really want to know how capitalism works, go to Russia. Go to Russia. You know, what happened in Russia when they went capitalism, right, is everyone had these dachas. Do you know what a dacha is? A dacha is it's like a summer home. But it sounds a lot greater than it actually was. The government would give you a very small piece of property somewhere outside of the city in which you lived, and you could grow crops there. You could spend time there. You could grow wine there in some places, like lots of potatoes, and make a little bit of a home. And it was like your summer home. People had their apartment, and they had their summer home. And what happened was, when perestroika happened and they went to a pure capitalist society, the mafia guys and the government guys had all of the money. And so what do? They offered people with these little tiny condo apartments. They bought them all up, and they made mega apartments out of them. Now, in the short term, those people got money. In the long term, they had to spend the money to get another apartment to live in, which became exponentially more expensive. They did the same thing with the dachas, creating these beautiful summer homes for all of the rich. I lived in Russia. Granted, it was 20 years ago. The rich were rich. The poor were a level of poverty you cannot conceptualize. Cannot conceptualize. And I'm not saying it's that level of poverty in college athletics, but there's a parallel there. Small sports aren't going to get any. They're not going to get, except for the very, very successful ones, very well supported. Like those, they're not going to get anything. There'll be claims of Title IX and not equal opportunity under the law. But more than anything, I don't know how you keep the lights on with some of those sports, because there will be fewer donations. Because, like, if I'm a business, why would I donate $100,000 to a university or $1 million university when I can just buy the running back for 10 or 20? Why would I? And so that money that was filtered throughout the athletic department to fund, track and field, something's got to go. But we are in a brave new world, and it is fascinating to see what is actually next. What is actually next? And the funny part is, you get the ubiquitous tweet, which is, what athlete would have made the most in the past off name, image, and likeness? Buyer, who do you think that would be? If you to answer that question, would that be Tim Tebow?
Say that again, Doug. I'm sorry.
What athlete would make the most? What past athlete would make the most off name, image, and likeness?
Bo Jackson, something like that. Brian Bosworth.
Okay. My argument would be that Bo Jackson, Brian Bosworth, Tim Tebow, everything that they have done, like Brian Bosworth is still a name. He does that Dr. Pepper ad. Why does he do that, Dr. Pepper? Is it because of his time in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks? No. It's because the legendary status and image he created while playing at the University of Oklahoma. And, oh yeah, by the way, I can't remember, they kicked him off or he quit the team before they actually played for a national championship. Right? Bo Jackson, he obviously had some exploits in the pros that were amazing, but it's not like he was the best running back in football. Bo Jackson, part of it was he's a two-sport star, but part of it was he won the Heisman Trophy at Auburn. You can never take that away from him. Tim Tebow, why does Tim Tebow keep getting opportunities? Because of what he did at Florida. Why does he have this following? Because of what he did at Florida. So my argument would be that athletes have benefited exponentially from name, image, and likeness, just not during their time during college. But these are the rules. Now we adjust. And I'm fascinated to see what happens when these guys get a letter from the IRS saying hey, you know how it works when you get paid this money, you actually give us some. People are like, what? Yeah. And the agents that are allowed to set up these deals, you know what an agent fee on endorsements is? It's 20%. It could be 4% on your pro contract, 20% on endorsements. Oops.